Okay, thanks, and thanks to the regional group. Thanks to the regional group for bringing forward this very important motion. And as has already been said, the question of transport for people with disabilities is absolutely critical. Without a decent transport system, every single aspect of their lives is diminished. Access to education, access to employment, access to a social life, everything. And as a result, people with disabilities suffer disproportionately from poverty, disproportionately in terms of the impact on their mental health. And that is not just grossly unfair. If we are serious about the UN CRPD, we are in fact infringing their rights. Okay? We are failing to vindicate the rights of huge numbers of people who have disability. And that failure has continued. I mean, I remember, I think I was on the Finance Committee when this issue of there being a problem with the Mobility Transport Grant and the motorised grant, because it was discriminatory, and if we opened it up, it would cost a fortune. Therefore, we have to reconsider the whole thing, and now we've just left it on ice for 8 years with no financial support for people. It's absolutely outrageous. Penny pinching, and the cost, the impact is pretty severe. And I just want to instance one example of both something that points to the solutions, but also of the failure of government in this regard, which I have raised repeatedly. I think I've raised it with you, Minister. I've certainly raised it with the Taoiseach, but it kind of, sums things up, which is the group Accessible Community Transport Southside Limited. Yeah. I also talked to them this morning, or my office did, right? And they provide a door-to-door service. They were doing 1,100 trips a month pre-COVID, down to 550 during COVID. And as a result, that impacted on their ability to generate funding, because they cannot use their travel pass, the free travel pass, on this scheme, right? Because it's not under the Department of Transport. Ironically, Dublin Bus and Transport for Ireland advertise this door-to-door transport scheme for people with disabilities on their website, but don't give a cent towards it. And nobody will take any responsibility for this. Transport doesn't want it. Health doesn't want it. Is it going to disability? We're not quite sure. Maybe it is. But the point is, for the want of €53,000 in immediate funding, this could close down. And I understand they met with you, but they also, the last I heard, which was today, they hadn't heard back from you. So they still don't know if they're going to get the money, and they need €250,000 to replace their fleet. By the way, they used to have 10 buses, and now they're down to 4 buses. Okay, this is disgraceful. With such a fantastic service. It is disgraceful that those people who use this service can't actually get it free. And they're having to pay. I mean, you look at their fare structure, and they have to do this in order to fund themselves, charging €12 for 0 to 5 kilometres, €16 for 5 to 8, as far up as €35 for 25 to 32 kilometres. And they have to do flag days, they have to stand outside shopping centres collecting money. It's outrageous. It's outrageous they have to do that. And there's other services like them, I'm not as familiar. Easy Cab Travel, Lucan Disability Action Group, Cork Accessible Transport, fantastic, and so on. They should be part of the public transport system. They should be funded. They should not have to be going out doing flag days and all the rest of it, or face the uncertainty of possibly having to close down because of the lack of funding. And for me, having to come in here and essentially beg on their behalf. So I hope that is going to be addressed as a matter of urgency. It is absolutely unacceptable, and public transport has a responsibility. And just so we're clear, there are many people with disabilities can't access the normal bus service. because it's overcrowded, there's only one wheelchair space on a bus, or you go down to the Dart, and this is the other issue I want to raise, right, is access for all, and I want to pay tribute to Bernard Mulvaney and Sean O'Kelly, who've campaigned so consistently, and again, they are substituting for the failures of Inroad Éireann, a Department of Transport, and so on, right? Because what do? They send out texts to people to say, the lift isn't working in this Dart station, don't go there, you're going to be trapped, which happens regularly to people. Or if you go there, you won't be able to get on the train. And there are three different, Bernard was telling me this morning, there are three different portals for information on what's actually happening in the Dart station near you. One is online, never correlates to what's actually going on in the station. The other one are the displays in the station. That is always displaying different information to the one that's online. And then there's another one which is apparently somewhat reliable, but is the actual office that are putting the information together. Right? So you have three different sets of information about whether the lift is working, and they're constantly breaking down. We have removed personnel from a whole number of Dart stations. So if you go down there and there's nobody there to help you in your problem, you're in trouble, right? Which is in itself a disgrace. So you should put people back into the Dart stations. The other thing that he raised, which I wasn't aware, is that in rural Ireland, people still have to give 24 hours notice to get on a train or to get on a bus. That's absolutely outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous. Now, we had a fight up here about that, and there was some improvements, although still far from perfect to Dublin, but in rural Ireland, 24 hours notice. Where's the equality in that? Right? And I mean, this links to many things. Our failure to actually take seriously the UNCRPD, and of course our still failure to sign up to the optional protocol, one of two countries that hasn't done it. Why? Because we'd be afraid actually we'd be caught out. And one of the lowest levels of subsidy for public transport in general anywhere in Europe. Right? We're penny pinching on public transport generally compared to our European counterparts. It's more expensive, it's less frequent, it's less reliable, and who hurts the most as a result of that? I mean, everybody hurts, but people with disabilities hurt the most. As a result, they can't trust the public transport system. They can't take the risk. And then you have a brilliant service like ACTS, which in Canada, they've institutionalised services like ACTS. The state directly funds it. So they don't have to worry about going on flag days, will their funding be there, charging fares to their customers. They don't have to do that because the public transport system provides the disability door-to-door service for people. That's the sort of service we need. Thank you.